So 3, 2, 1.
Hey,
welcome everybody. We're just doing
Podcast.
our own thing today. How the hell are you?
Yeah, man.
It was a great intro.
Yeah,
Great intro.
best one so far.
Yeah.
Good thing, we all spoke at the same time.
We'll understand what we said, for sure.
Sharon! Sharon! Sharon!
There's more context to that. We can't just say Sharon.
I mean, that's what they fucking said for like half the dialogue in the movie.
Well, anyway, this is episode 8 on Silent Hill movie.
Yeah.
Based off the video game.
Based off the book.
Whoa.
Based off the TV show adaptation.
Based
of
off
the
the
radio broadcast.
Based off the play. Written by
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Based off
Back
the
in-
ancient story.
Yeah, the actor,
1623.
not Leonardo da Vinci. DiCaprio wrote
Yeah.
it back then because he's a vampire. That's why he looked so young in Titanic, even though he was like 200, I guess.
Written by Jared from Subway.
Oh God.
Alright. Silent Hill. What a fun movie.
What a fun movie.
This movie, it's kind of boring.
It's fun to look at.
I
Yeah.
like it. I like the special effects. I liked most of
Well,
it.
some of the special effects.
It is kind of corny.
Yeah.
But 2006 horror movie. I feel like it was good for them.
I just looked it up. They said Sharon 50 different times in the movie.
Nice.
That's great.
That's out of like 90 words.
Yeah. That's half the dialogue in this movie. It's just Sharon.
Sharon and riddles.
Yeah, Sharon and Riddles, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Pyramid Head shows up and doesn't really do anything.
I mean, he
Scares the shit
He
out of them.
tries to do something. He's cool. He's Pyramid Head.
I mean,
Got Beatles as homies.
Yeah.
he does scare him, but like at the same time, he doesn't really serve a purpose other than to kind of tie it in with Silent Hill.
Well, he's trying to kill him. Which, I mean, the whole point of Silent Hill anyway is to avoid Pyramid Head, so... Well, that's not the whole point, but that's just like what you try to do with him.
Who even named him Pyramid Head?
I think it was the creator of the game.
Oh.
Or somebody else. Forgot. I'd have to look it up. No, there's an article saying that the guy who created Pyramid Head regretted doing it.
Yeah.
I have to read that. I think Pyramid Head's cool, though. I'll probably see him
Buff
now.
and daddy.
Yeah. Got the muscles.
That
and
pyramid
big
is.
swords.
Alright, well. Let me open up my notes,
It's where all those bugs come from.
Oh,
Yeah. It's true. This is based off of the video game Silent Hill.
yeah.
Obviously. The movie was made after the game. Which I do like the game. I haven't finished it. But I have played a Silent Hill. You
I've
played-
only played PT. I haven't played the original ones.
Is PT based on Silent Hill?
Yeah, PT is Silent Hill.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
they
didn't
just
know
never
that.
finished that game.
Oh.
Yeah.
I never played PT. I didn't know.
And then, you get to the end of the game and then, you look in the mirror and it's Daryl Dixon from The Walking Dead.
Whoa.
Yeah,
What a tie-in.
man. It's pretty weird.
M. Night Shyamalan make that game?
Maybe. It does seem to be an M. Night Shyamalan film.
Side note, M. Night Shyamalan did direct the live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender movie. That was awful.
Nice.
Only
Based off the video game Silent Hill.
Adapted from Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball? I don't know, man. I
It's
feel
the same
like
thing. If you think about it.
it's fair, but if you also think about it, Dragon Ball's the same thing as like Dark Souls.
No.
Naughty.
No.
No, dude, definitely.
No.
You got like a main character who fights bosses. Isn't that what
You
Dark
don't
Souls
know,
is?
You don't know.
I mean, you can't say no because it is what it is.
That's not what it is, though.
But the main character fights the bosses.
You have a character that fights bosses, but it's not the main
See?
Alright.
It's the same thing.
character. You just
So off topic.
Stop talking about stuff you don't know, Logan. Let's just get to this movie, okay?
Yeah.
Dark Souls sucks. -1 out of 100.
This man's just throwing out his shitty opinions.
Anyways,
Anyway.
Silent Hill, man.
main character Sharon.
No,
is-
she's not the... Sharon
Rose.
isn't... Rose is the main character.
Oh shit!
Rose
I
is
kept
mom.
getting them mixed
Sharon
up.
is her daughter.
Yeah.
Sharon!
Rose is always yelling at
Sharon!
Sharon. Yeah, that's right. You're right.
That's
Yeah.
what the movie starts off with, is Sharon.
It starts off with fucking Sharon running away.
Trying to find her daughter because she's like running around.
She
doing
wants
all
to
this
find
shit.
Silent Hill. Because she sleepwalks and just keeps saying
Her
Silent
daughter's
Hill.
name is actually Silent Hill.
Yeah. No, Sharon wants to find Silent Hill for some reason.
Yeah,
She sleepwalks and that just talks about Silent Hill. She
exactly.
has to-
Well, she draws
Home!
in her paintings
Home!
and stuff too.
Silent Hill!
She
Silent
runs to like a
Hill!
waterfall, right?
Yeah, she like
And then,
tries
it's,
to like swan dive off the cliff into the like pond.
then her mom grabs her.
And she doesn't just grab her, she fucking like
She tackles her. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Like-
NFL, you know.
Like a
That-
linebacker tackle. It's pretty brutal.
That was the NFL like tie to the movie.
Yeah. That was the National Football League promotion for the movie.
There's a lot of promos in this movie.
Yeah.
Jeeps.
Yeah.
Jeep.
Cool like 80s cop.
I don't... Is that a promo?
Yeah, man.
Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash.
Johnny... Yeah, I guess. He
Sexy
was like...
nurses.
It's true. Sexy nurses are a promo for this movie.
Slipknot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the DJ from Slipknot.
Corey Taylor is Pyramid Head.
Oh, you know, that's an interesting conspiracy there.
It's true. It's true. Well, anyway... Where were we? Oh, yeah, little girl runs away.
She's sleepwalking. She draws Silent Hill in her art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's supposed to be just a pretty thing, but when she's like sleepwalking, she accidentally changes it and doesn't remember.
She doesn't remember drawing that stuff.
Yeah, doesn't remember all these places that she's drawn and shit.
Yeah.
There's like a weird scene with Sharon like attacking Rose or Rose attacking Sharon under a tree, and then Rose is like, we're going to Silent Hill.
And they're
Yeah.
meowing at each other.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
exactly
and
what
they're meowing at
happens.
each other. Yeah.
That's exactly what happens.
And then they fall asleep under the tree, and then wake up to something. I didn't write it down.
You know, this movie, I don't know if it's the same director, probably not, but this movie reminds me a lot of, what's it called? The zombie movie based off the video game.
There's a lot.
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil, yeah. It reminds me of the Resident Evil movies a little bit.
I think it definitely tried to capitalize off the Resident Evil, like
Especially the first one.
the Resident Evil wave, because this was the early 2000s when, you know, Resident Evil was coming out every year.
There's also like a lot of like movie video game adaptations in the early 2000s.
Yeah, dude, you ever seen the Far Cry one?
No.
That one's pretty bad.
Talking about the new one?
No, there was one like,
Oh, wait, never mind. Not the new one. There isn't a new one. I was thinking of Uncharted.
this is like from like 2008 or something, the Far Cry movie. It was pretty bad.
Sounds bad. But yeah, there's like a lot of them. I do like this movie though, but I remember watching it a while back and watching it again. I definitely don't think I liked it as much.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot as a kid, but watching it this time, man, it was kind of hard to get through.
I
It
do think
used
it's
to be
cool,
like really scary, but I still think it has like some of the best sounds.
Yeah.
It does have that meme song.
Or not song, but just like that sound effect. The doo doo doo.
Yeah, it's
Just watch the movie and know what I'm talking about. If you know memes.
it plays like 6 times in the movie, so you'll constantly hear it.
Yeah. I do think the movie's cool though. I think Pyramid Head is scary still. Even though it doesn't really do much.
Yeah, that guy's fucking scary.
I mean, you have to have some sort of sex appeal in this movie, and that's what they did with Pyramid Head. He's the sex appeal.
Yeah.
He's what sells the movie, you know?
Anyway, though, and then Rose is telling her daughter, like, oh, I'm going to take you to Silent Hill because you keep talking about it when you're like sleepwalking, and instead of taking you to a hospital like a reasonable person, I'm going to take you to Silent Hill.
But also at the same time, man, I don't really think that's like that much of a hospital thing, because it just seems like she's just a sleepwalker, and sleepwalkers tend to talk, man. Like,
What's Rose's husband's name?
Chris.
Chris cuts off the cards so she can't fill up her gas at the gas station.
Yeah, because he's like opposed to her taking her there.
Which,
See,
I mean,
like,
makes sense.
He researches Silent Hill and realizes it's like a ghost town where a bunch of people died.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it's dangerous. Don't take her there.
I also feel like if my daughter's having night terrors, I'm not gonna take her to where she's talking about. That just sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, plus now
But
she's just
also-
gonna have nightmares from being there forever.
Exposure therapy, though. You know, she either gets traumatized or shit, like, it fixes her.
I mean, that's even if she still is sharing, you know?
It's fair. You know, I know Trevor brought it up when we were watching the movie, but Silent Hill is based off of, like, the town itself is based off of a town in Pennsylvania, Centralia.
Centralia,
Yeah,
we've
that's what it's
seen that
called.
on what the hell is it? Unexplained.
Yes.
It's just basically a coal mining town that caught fire underground and didn't burn out. It's still burning today.
Yeah, it's going to be burning for, like, hundreds of years.
Yeah.
It's not really, there's not a town there anymore, though. It's just basically a road.
Yeah.
It's still cool, though.
Silent Hill.
We should go there.
That would be cool.
It was bought by the government, so you can't really go there.
Is it dangerous to go there?
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, the pavement is still melting.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, concrete doesn't melt. That's fucked up.
Whoa.
But yeah,
Well, that's how you get to Silent Hill. What if I want to live in Silent Hill? Rent might be cheaper there, you know?
Sure.
you might have to deal with toxic fumes, but
But that's okay. Internet's probably shit, but you know,
I mean, we deal with toxic fumes every day.
yeah, you're right.
it's true. Plus, you fart a lot, so like,
True.
That
you
is
gotta deal with
toxic.
that.
But yeah, as they're at the gas station, you meet Sybil, the
Cop.
fucking cop
What
who
a
likes
fucking
putting her
name.
nose into people's business,
Dude, the 80s, like, road warrior cop.
Yeah.
who looks like Pink.
She
looks like
does
yes.
look like Pink.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I think it's the short hair.
Well, yeah, anyway, but she gets suspicious because she sees that her daughter's, like, they pull up to the gas station to get gas, and she sees that Sharon, fucking Rose's daughter, is, like, freaking out because Rose shows her these, like, pictures that she drew, and she's like, you remember drawing these? And she's like, no, I don't like it. Starts freaking out.
Who did that?
Yeah, who did that?
Yeah, the cop starts getting all, like, creepy.
Yeah,
And it's like a
poking
good
her
girl.
nose in it.
Yeah, comes up to the window and just like trying to talk to the girl, and Sharon's just like, don't talk to strangers, and rolls up the window, and she's like, good girl.
Good girl.
It's,
Weird.
it's so fucking weird.
But yet still, like, fucking is staring at her in the car like a creep.
Well,
Does
actually,
not.
you don't know if she's staring at her or not because she's wearing sunglasses at night.
Yeah.
She
Her,
took
fa-
that
her
Corey
face is
Hart
just in the
photo.
direction of the window of the car.
Yeah.
You just don't know if she's staring at you.
Well, that's the whole point, man. You know, like the Corey Hart song, the Sunglasses at Night?
Mm-mm.
You know, you don't want to show off your face, you know, like, you can't tell what somebody's acting like if they have sunglasses on, you know? They're just cool and calm and collected.
Shouldn't stare directly at the moon without sunglasses.
Hey, man, you know.
You go blind. That's
You know, I actually just kind of realized right now that she was wearing sunglasses at night, and it's kind of funny.
it is kind of funny.
But yeah, basically, Rose's card declines, and
Yeah, she goes into the gas station to buy something.
to pay for the gas.
Oh yeah, and it declines.
Declines, so she's like, oh, whatever. Tries to, like, call her husband. Just like, you can't do this. Like,
They said, did she ever pay for the gas?
No, she never actually filled it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
So she takes off after like telling the police officer, "We're fine. Like, get out of our fucking business."
Yeah.
You know, drives away,
Don't need you.
And the
Like,
cop follows her down that road and pulls her over.
or at least tries to. She like stops and acts like she's getting pulled over, and then she just like guns it when she gets off her bike.
Buckle up,
which is
Sharon.
also kind of weird. Like, why are you taking off from the cops? She sees the like Silent Hill sign and she's like, "Oh, buckle up, Sharon. We're about to go for a ride."
Well, I think it's because like she doesn't want to like tell her that she's going to Silent Hill because nobody's allowed in Silent Hill. Because
But
it's like
Yeah.
dangerous.
But then she just makes her chase her all the way up the same road because there's no diversions. There's no other paths to go. It's just one road all the way up. So
Yeah, she's like speeding, running away.
But
And then-
also later on with like Chris, it obviously doesn't matter. You can just go to Silent Hill just by bitching. So
he never went to the like Silent Hill she goes to though.
well, she goes to like purgatory because they
Yeah,
die,
I guess.
and then
I
that's
get-
what that whole like
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I didn't realize she was dead.
yeah. It's
Well,
like
yeah.
how you get into
So
that.
anyway, she's running away from the cop, and then she like speeds past the bridge that goes into Silent Hill, and she like sees a little girl in front of her, so she like swerves and crashes. Which I guess she died there. They
Yeah.
both did. Which I guess makes sense. I didn't realize they died. But anyway, now she's in
Maybe.
Silent Hill.
I mean, they never say that they died, but it only makes sense that they died because now they're trapped in purgatory.
Yeah, and I guess the cop also crashes that's following her, and she also ends up in Silent Hill.
Yeah, because she's a fucking greedy pig.
A hot, greedy pig, though.
I mean, I wouldn't call her hot.
She's a butterface.
I think
Butterface.
she's hot.
That's why she was wearing her sunglasses.
She's
at night.
not as hot as Pyramid Head. Let's get that straight. Though.
That's fair.
Dude, who is?
That fucking
We can't.
the sexy nurses.
We can't reach that kind of perfection, though. We can't all be Pyramid Head.
We're sexy nurses.
Yeah.
Or that fucking creature that vomits on the cop.
I gotta be honest though, I remember the sexy nurses like the first time I watched this movie being more prevalent in the movie.
Yeah,
But
me
they were
too.
only actually in like one scene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sadly. Well, I mean, there's like an alive sexy nurse later on.
Yeah, but her eyeballs are bleeding.
That doesn't mean she's like hot.
gouged out. And bleeding.
But she's not alive technically, right?
Yeah, I guess she's not alive, but she's like not a zombie.
Yeah, she's not decrepit.
She's not one of the fucking cool like nurses.
And I like most of this movie is like Rose in Silent Hill looking for Sharon. Because when she wakes up after she's like passed out, Sharon's not in her car anymore. So she goes and looks for her. And
Yeah.
sees a sign and realizes she's in Silent Hill.
It's like, welcome to Silent Hill. It's the one from the game, if you don't know.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that sign.
Because you haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
And then she runs into a bunch of screaming kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, these like, I that is one of my favorite parts of this movie though. Is like the ghouls and like monsters and whatnot in it. I think they're all cool. Kind of. I don't know how to explain it. They are kind of Dark Soulish, like Miyazaki kind of art style. looking.
Yeah. They're
I
all.
think they're cool.
Just like twisty.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. Once again, like Lovecraftian kind of looking.
Yeah, I mean, don't really know how to explain it other than they're just hell creatures, doom creatures, you know.
But yeah, she's like looking for Sharon, and then it like
Sharon.
The siren goes off for the whole city, pretty much.
she doesn't know what it is, and then it turns out that it's like, I guess it's when the darkness comes. And when the darkness comes, everything just like starts getting fucked up.
It's like a blend between two dimensions. It's like all fucked up and normal, and then you like smash them together.
Is it like hell bleeding into purgatory? Is that what it is?
Probably.
Probably.
Kind of how it felt, yeah.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah, that's kind of around the time the Pyramid Head showed up.
Yeah.
Not the first time. Because the first time the darkness comes around is when the, school gets let out and all the kids are like, Capri Sun. Mom, where's the fruit snacks? And
She
then,
doesn't
like, she
have a
falls on the
dad.
ground and is like, I don't have any.
Yeah, Rose is getting chased by these like fucking weird-looking kid kind of things.
With like, I don't know, like orange ghostly faces.
It's it's weird.
They kind of look like pumpkin heads.
It's like I said, it's like Lovecraftian kind of horror-ish.
Yeah.
They look like the shadows from Kingdom Hearts.
The
Yeah.
Heartless.
Yeah, a little bit.
But not just the Heartless, because the Heartless is like the bad guys' like names. It's like they're like clique name, but
Sharon is
they're
also
just like
like
little shadows.
the reason why she's getting in these situations because she keeps seeing Sharon like
Running around.
like running around, and she's like chasing after her. It's not the actual Sharon, you find out, but yeah, so she's like getting led to all these places that she has to go.
Sharon!
Sharon,
Sharon! Yeah, and then she falls on the ground and just starts like crying and then passes out and wakes up. And it's all normal again. Ish. Except for, you know, like the ash in the fog that never goes away.
sort of.
Which I guess is like smoke, maybe? Not fog? I
It's
don't know.
ash, but yeah.
But that's
Well, I
when
know
she-
that's the stuff raining from the sky, but there's also just like a
Fog.
dense fog or
Oh,
cloud.
yeah, I got you. Yeah.
And then the cop comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
no,
that's when she goes back to her car to find the
Rose goes back to her car, and then she sees that old woman, right? Whatever her name is.
fucking Deandra or
She's
whatever
looking
her name is.
at the bridge she came from and realizes it like isn't there, and then the woman behind her tells her like,
Speaks in riddles.
yeah,
Like,
I forgot what
that-
she said, but she's like the gates of hell aren't open yet or some
It's
shit.
pretty much like, oh, they took all of our children.
Yeah, she's
She
like
was
this
my
old crazy
daughter.
witch woman.
And got a hunchback.
And that's when she meets the cop, because that old woman like freaks her out and like grabs her. And she like runs away. Then
Hides
she
in her car.
runs into sexy cop.
Steps out and the cop's just like, hey, you're under arrest.
Sybil is her name. Yeah, Sybil.
What a fucking name. Sybil.
It's like almost as bad as Beryl.
It's
I
not
mean,
nearly as
No,
bad.
not as close. Beryl is fucking awful.
British names are like fantastically bad. They're some of the worst.
I mean, there's some pretty bad names in this movie because, like, after she gets arrested, then you get introduced to Thomas Gucci, the inspector, because Chris is like, my wife is up there. I need to go up there and find her. And he was like, oh, okay, come with me. We'll go up to Silent Hill. It's
Well,
easy as that.
Yeah, so like Rose's husband runs into these cops because they're at the bridge to Silent Hill because they're looking for Officer Sybil.
Yeah.
So they meet up with each other, and that's when fucking Dad meets Officer Gucci.
Yeah, fucking Gucci, dude.
Yeah.
What a name.
But anyway,
Thomas Gucci. Inspector.
they explain to each other what's going on. Like, Dad's all freaking out. He's like, I'm looking for my wife and my daughter.
You know, they really honestly could have left the whole, like, Chris part out of it, and it would have been
I know.
fine.
He doesn't really do much in this movie. He is sort of important, but not that much.
I mean, the only importance is, like, the end of the movie. It's the only time where it's like, oh, you know, that's kind of cool.
But the officer agrees to drive him into Silent Hill, and that's when you realize they go in there, and the Silent Hill they go into is different from the one that's Sharon and Rose are in.
Yeah.
Which
And
I guess makes
Officer
sense
Pink.
because they're dead. I guess. Officer Pink.
And what happens next?
Then
They go to the... or,
Oh, no.
okay, so then
Sybil
they...
tries arresting Rose, and then then that like creature,
Yeah, the fucking...
as she's like
vomiter
trying to
dude.
put her in her car, that creature like fucking pops up.
The spitter from Left 4 Dead shows up.
Yeah.
The creature from a Tool video.
The guy who was just trying to suicide by cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Runs up with like a fucking twisted spine and like squelching from his
He's
face.
got like
He
a
also doesn't have arms.
he's got like
Yeah.
a butthole face, and then yeah, like no arms,
Really long legs and a hole in his chest.
and then he
fucking
like sprays.
pukes fucking
Acid.
blood acid
Out of
all,
his
Like I'm
butthole
saying, it's a
face.
spitter from Left 4 Dead, man.
all over Pink's face.
Doesn't care, but like fucking dissolves your helmet and her jacket. Whoa.
That was for y'all.
This is what I'm talking about. I'm gonna have to bleep out these farts. I did it on the last podcast.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh man, I gotta listen to that bleep.
Oh, and then while like Sybil is dealing with the like spitter, Rose runs
dips.
off to the
Yeah.
school because she's like, oh, I gotta find Sharon.
Yeah.
And then she hears like a girl whisper to her like, Sharon, or not Sharon, Rose. She's like, huh? What's that? Just starts walking around ignoring the fact that she just heard somebody like whisper to her. It's pretty weird, man.
And then the dudes from Slipknot come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The DJ from Slipknot shows up and, you know, he's like, oh, hey, she's in this room. Let's go get her.
It's like these people wearing these like fucking. They're from the Silent Hill game. I don't know what they're called. But they're wearing like these like overcoats.
It looks like mining equipment.
Yeah, they're wearing like trench coats.
They have like
and,
gas
masks.
masks on.
Yeah, gas mask and like trench coats and whatnot. They're trying to find her. So she's like running away from them.
Oh, and then she goes into like the bathroom and then meets up with Colin. He's this like creepy old dude that is, well, you don't know he's creepy yet, but he's just bound in barbed wire.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I have to reach in his mouth and grab keys.
Not keys, it's a piece of like brick that has like a room number on it from a hotel, I think.
Oh,
Or like something like that. Forgot what it was.
I don't know.
It says something to do with the hotel that she has to go to.
Like a piece of paper.
Yeah,
She
something.
another
grabs
clue.
something out of his mouth, and then
Yeah, and then the darkness happens again.
yeah, and then this is where you see fucking Dad. Where Dad comes to punish her.
Well, not quite yet, because then the darkness comes and it kills all those guys in overcoats, like the Beatles do.
Yeah.
Like the band, the Beatles, come and kill them. It's pretty tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They eat them.
Yeah. But these like Beatle things come and eat these guys, and she's like freaking out. She doesn't know what to do. And then fucking Sybil finds her and saves her ass.
Well, that's after she sees Dad, because she's running away from Dad.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, she's like running away, and then yeah, that's when you see Pyramid Head.
By Dad, I mean Pyramid Head.
Yeah.
And then he's just like charging in his like surf wave of Beatles, just like, you know, riding on his sword. Kind of like the Nimbus from Dragon Ball.
It's basically just a buff, 8-foot tall dude with a giant steel pyramid head, and then like
And a huge
Cloud's
dick.
Buster sword.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a huge dick.
I think we left out a pretty good portion of something though, like before Pyramid Head shows up and she's in the bathroom, that one fucking weird guy with
Well, that's
his
what we were
legs
talking
bent
about.
back. Oh, okay.
That's
We already
Colin.
covered that, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I guess
That-
we didn't say Colin like reanimates when the darkness.
Okay,
comes.
yeah,
He starts,
you're
like,
right.
chasing
Okay.
them.
I mean, doesn't really matter. He just makes the walls have veins.
Yeah, it's not a huge detail.
He just is there to be there.
It's hard to describe a lot in this movie. More just have to watch it.
Yeah.
Or play the game, honestly. I'd rather just play the game.
And then that's when, because Rose, I think Rose ends up like falling or something and then just starts panicking because Pyramid Head and the Beatles are coming after her. And that's when Sybil like fucking runs out and grabs her and just carries her into like a room.
Yeah, this room where it's like a
Really
elevator
tight room.
shaft kind of room.
Yeah.
Place. Well, no, there's like a fan behind them.
Yeah, that she rips off a piece of metal to like bar the door with.
Yeah, and then they're like waiting in there, and then that's when fucking Pyramid Head fucking stabs his sword through the door trying to kill
He
him.
stabs his buster blade through the door and it's like, I found you, Leon.
it's Cloud, and he's like, I know you're in there, Sephiroth.
Sephiroth! I'm here to destroy you. Fuck, dude, Cloud from fucking Kingdom Hearts.
But yeah, anyway, they're just like sitting in there. They keep avoiding his sword until like the fucking darkness goes away. So Pyramid Head disappears. And they walk out, and fucking Sybil's all freaking out. She's like, you saw that, right?
It's not just a hallucination.
I mean, it kind of is.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's just DMT trip after DMT trip, you know?
You know what I'm wondering, though? I guess it's more for the end of the movie, but I don't really feel like it's bad to spoil anything right now. But so how are they dead if Sybil dies later in the movie?
I don't know.
So,
But, like, it only makes sense that they're dead.
Yeah,
and maybe she gets sent to, like, hell at that point because they're in purgatory right now.
Here's my little, like, 2 cents to offer on that little theory, because that cliff and all the fog, you're just like, oh, shit, well, now that they did what they have to do at Silent Hill, they just leave. It's like, no, they fucking just drove off a cliff. You know?
But they were definitely dead before that because Chris and Inspector Gucci are also in Silent Hill at the same time that they're in Silent Hill.
Yeah, but they're in like an upside down version of the Silent Hill.
Well, they're in the right version of Silent Hill.
they're still in Silent Hill. It's just a different part of it.
It's
Yeah.
Rose and
Well, they're not in the Silent Hill city anymore. They like, I guess they go out of it and they're still in like this purgatory place. But I don't know if it's the same thing as Silent Hill. I think maybe it could just be like a different dimension they're in.
I just thought it was because like
I just think they're dead.
I always
Like, they
thought
died
it
in
was
that car crash.
because they went there at night, and that made a difference for some reason. And now they're stuck.
I guess.
I don't know.
Well, anyway. And then that's so fucking Sybil and Rose are like trying to find this hotel because of the piece of evidence that Rose found in Colin's mouth.
I mean, it definitely has to do with like purgatory and hell because hell is the darkness.
Yeah.
Because that's how they explain it. And then, like later on in the end of the movie, when that whole like church scene's going on, she's technically dragging them down to hell.
Yeah.
We can get more into that later, but that's why I definitely think it's purgatory, and maybe Sharon or like maybe Sharon and Rose are just stuck in purgatory forever because they didn't die in Silent Hill where they were, or they didn't get dragged down in Silent Hill where they were supposed to be dragged to hell because they're both sinners.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Because
do
they're definitely
something.
not good people if they're stuck in purgatory.
But it's like peaceful at the end. Like they seem content.
I don't think it's peaceful at all because, you know, like I'm saying, it's maybe Sharon, you know.
No, it is. It's decided who Sharon is. I mean, that's for the end of the
But-
movie if we're talking about it now, though. But it tells you who Sharon is.
But also, like, you know, the fucking little girl, Rose is sitting there like, don't open your eyes, don't open your eyes. And she opens her eyes and they make eye contact. And it's like, oh shit, she's actually, you know, somebody else now as they're leaving because she stares at the
Well, I think
lady.
they're a whole again because they were separate parts of the same being beforehand, as it's described. So I think they like when she opens her eyes and looks at her, they like connect again. Because technically, I mean, I
But
guess
that little girl isn't Sharon, she's Alessa.
yeah, but Sharon is the good part of Alessa. She's the pure part of Alessa.
But Alessa's the girl in the bed.
Yeah. So the
So is that just like a carcass, like a husk then, and then she separated into two little old girls?
no, because the little girl who stares at Sharon at the very end is actually the Reaper that has many names.
It's the demon.
Yeah.
Yeah, the demon thing.
So. I don't know.
This
One-
story makes no sense.
I don't. It's hard to explain, man. But anyway, I guess we spoiled a lot of the ending. But
I
it
mean,
doesn't
it
matter.
doesn't matter.
But I mean,
The middle of this movie is just kind of like,
it feels like a lot of filler.
yeah,
For no reason.
it is a lot of filler.
Pretty much every scene with Christopher and Officer Gucci just doesn't really have any significance to it at all.
That is true. Yeah.
It's kind of just Christopher and Gucci trying to look for Sharon and Rose inside Silent Hill, but they're not finding them for the most part. I mean, I guess so. Officer Gucci, I guess it turns out to be this guy who tells him the history of Silent Hill, and he's like, well, there's a bunch of people here. The fire started, it killed like everybody, a lot of the people he knew.
A lot of good people.
And he was connected to the girl, whatever her name is, Jezebel or something.
Christabella? That girl?
No, the girl that...
Alessa?
Yeah. He's like connected to Alessa because he tried to save her this one scene.
Yeah.
But that's who Officer Gucci is.
He's like, I'm a good guy.
He's a good guy, I
There's
guess.
good people too.
I mean, he's a biker gangster, you know?
What?
He's because it's the same guy who plays one of the characters in Sons of Anarchy.
I forgot what his name is. It's like Mickey or Lucky or
I
something
forgot.
like that. But he really likes Chinese women in that show.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched Sons of Anarchy,
Yeah, I was like, I know this guy from somewhere while watching it.
he's in a lot of movies. I forgot his name. He's a good actor though.
I just had it, but oh well, doesn't really matter. He's kind of a, not really matters character.
Yeah. But then, so it's Rose and Sybil find the hotel that they're looking for, and inside they find this one girl named Anna, who's like, she's like kind of attacking that older woman that like fucking confronted Rose
Yeah,
near the
it's
like
because
cliff.
she's a sinner
Yeah.
and Anna's a holy lady.
Yeah, so Anna's like this crazy religious woman. She's attacking this old woman because she's like, she's a sinner. She's a witch.
They're like, get off of her. And then she starts speaking in riddles.
And then Rose finds out like what the piece of evidence she found in Colin's mouth in the bathroom was. It's like this room number. It says room 111. So they like try to find room 111 in the hotel they're at. Like Anna joins them.
Yeah, Anna just parties up because Sybil's like, you know what, let's just take her along for the ride.
Yeah.
And then Anna, they come across this painting, and Anna's like, this painting, it's the first of the burnings.
Yeah, it depicts this like religious group, I guess they are, that fucking Anna's a part of.
Yeah,
And them burning a witch.
yeah, somehow, then Rose just connects these dots that weren't really there, and she's like, oh, I have to open this painting.
Yeah, so she takes this knife from Anna that she had, and she like rips open this painting and discovers that the room number she had, because they weren't finding it, is behind the painting.
But it's like, there is no, real reason to open this painting other than the fact that I think Rose just wanted to cut this painting open.
Yeah.
Because nothing that Anna mentioned was like, oh, maybe I should cut this painting open. She was literally just describing this painting.
Well, because it was right in between, 10 and 12.
Yeah.
Because there was no room 111.
Yeah. But I don't think anyone really would have thought, oh, hey, maybe I should cut open this painting because maybe room 111 is somewhere else.
I mean, it's a fucking ghost town. Who's gonna arrest you for vandalism?
But, there was just no point. She just cut it open to cut it open. And was like, oh, there's the room.
It was female intuition.
I guess.
Well, anyway, and then I guess they go in, and Rose just all suddenly knows when they go in the room. She's like, something terrible happened here. She just knows, I guess.
I guess maybe it is women's intuition.
It's 111 right now.
No, it's actually 110.
Fuck you.
The microwave clock is off.
Well, anyway, and then they go in there, and they walk up, because I guess Rose sees Sharon, running up, in this, because it's big room that has, this, I don't know how to describe it. It's this old rundown room that has, a fucking staircase that leads up to this, bigger room, I guess. Hard to describe.
To the parkour room, as we like to call it.
Yeah.
she starts doing some parkour and
But
like
yeah.
almost falls and dies, but then like
Rose sees Sharon in there and she
Yeah.
runs up to try to grab her. And then she does finally get to her and she like corners her and she turns around and it's not Sharon. It's
Alessa.
it's
Oh!
Alessa and she's like, look at me burn, and then she like just fucking catches fire and then disappears in front of her.
Doesn't even answer her question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking cool, man. Like she's like, you want to see something cool? She's like, watch me burn.
Dude, she's Chris
Lights
Angel.
herself on fire.
I just got it. She's Chris Angel.
Yeah, dude. Next thing we know, she's gonna be fucking like walking up the pyramid in Las Vegas.
You know Chris Angel, right? He's the mind freak.
Yeah, dude, everybody knows that.
He can levitate.
He's the mind freak. Look at me, I'm burning. Shit's funny.
That's that whole scene.
Yeah.
That's all they find in the hotel.
And then Sybil's like, hey, it's dangerous over there. Take this rope that's totally safe, and I totally checked it, and swing across.
So she does that.
Yeah.
It's a nothing scene.
Yeah. And then they
Nothing
walk
else
downstairs, and then all of a sudden, like, the sirens start going off.
Yeah,
And they're
it's
"Oh,
like the
shit."
darkness is coming. You have to join me in my church to be
The
protected.
darkness.
Oh shit, dude, the fucking sirens are going off and they're just walking down the street. They don't seem to really care too much. It's like, oh no, the darkness.
Yeah, so they join into this church and they realize, oh, a bunch of people are running in now. There's a lot of people in Silent Hill, actually.
All of a sudden.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's like, you know, the Salt Lake City. Oh, nice.
Dude, that just came out, man. Had to.
I have to bleep so many farts in this shit. I can't believe it.
Close your ass.
You.
No.
But then they're all like hanging outside the church as like everyone's like funneling in. Yeah, and then they just start talking to the old lady, and she's like, "Oh, you gotta stay out here. Approach your fears head on. That's the only way to do it."
Well, Rose is like, she's about to go in the church, but that old lady that like attacked her before is like trying to warn her. She's like, these people are sheep. They're trying to bring you down with them. Don't join them.
Stay here and join me with Dad.
And she's like, embrace the darkness.
And then she gets fucking torn, like her skin
No.
torn off.
No.
Not her.
That's not the old lady.
Oh,
It's-
no,
so
that's
that's
Anna.
Anna.
Yeah.
Rose, like, tries to tell this old lady, she's like, because she realizes that her daughter, the old lady's daughter, was, whatever, I keep forgetting her name.
Alessa.
Alessa.
Yeah.
She realizes her daughter's Alessa, and she's like, I know your daughter's Alessa. My daughter looks just like her. Do you know where she is? And she's just speaking in riddles, so she fucking...
The darkness surrounds.
And she, like, not joining him in the church, and Anna tells her, she's like, well, the darkness doesn't want her. That's why she stays outside. But anyway, so they, like, go in the church, and for some reason, fucking Anna just decides to, like, stay outside and fight the Pyramid Head.
A pyramid head
Does
just
not
grabs
feel
her by the throat,
She's
rips
throwing
off her
rocks.
clothes.
Yeah.
At the witch lady.
Pyramid Head picks her up, rips off her clothes, and then like looks at her for a second there, and then just grabs her and like twists her skin off.
It just, like, fucking throws her flesh at the door of the church.
So cool.
It's pretty hardcore. But yeah, they go into the church, and now they're all safe, I guess, because darkness can't get into this church. And that's when they meet the church leader. Her name's,
Christabella.
yeah, Christabella.
And like everyone's calling Rose a witch because she let Anna die to the darkness, and that somehow makes her a witch, and how they should burn her.
Yeah.
And Christabella's like, no, let's not burn her. She didn't do anything wrong, guys.
Christabella's not helpful at all. She also just talks in riddles.
Yeah. Christabella also isn't a very, like, I guess she is kind of important, but not really.
Yeah.
She's
Like-
just kind of there to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
She's like the church leader, and she just like influences everybody in the church to believe stuff. And then I guess she like tells the people in the church to not be mad at Rose. She's just like, we will talk about them in a second. We have
Deal
to
with
go,
them later.
We have to go do our prayers.
And she's like, oh, where can I find Alessa? And the lady's like, the darkness knows.
She tells her she's like trying to find her daughter. She's just like, your daughter was taken by the darkness or the demon. She
The
says.
darkness knows. You gotta go find the demon.
You must go to the bowels.
The bowels of the darkness, and find the demon.
Yeah, she's like, tells her, she's like, well, we can help you go to this place if you want to face this demon, but you're not going to come back.
Yeah.
And so church group like gives fucking Rose and Sybil these like fucking outfits they were wearing, like the gas mask and trench coats. They're like, oh, we're gonna come help you find our daughter. Plot twist, they take them over there, and then Christabel tells Rose, she's like, follow this map that's on this wall for some reason.
Just memorize it.
Remember it. You will need it.
Yeah. And then they get there, and because Christabel stole this locket that Rose has of her daughter. Before she went, she didn't realize it, and so when they get there, like Christabella looks at it, and she realizes that her daughter looks like
Alessa.
Dude, I can't
Like,
remember. her
witch!
name.
Burn the witch!
Burn the witch! And then Sybil jumps in and was like, you go do that shit while I fucking fight these guys.
She, like,
Pulls the bar
beats
out of
him
the
up.
elevator that fucking Rose is in, and Rose is like, no!
Yeah.
Sybil!
The
And she
elevator-
just gives her like, you know, like a thumbs up. It's like, yeah, you know, you do your thing. I'm gonna fight these guys.
But then
the
she
elevator
gets,
that goes down to the demon.
Yeah. Ooh, and then this is like the only scene in the movie, but you know, you get to see the gang of sexy nurses.
So then, yeah, Sybil sacrifices herself and gets her ass beat. And then, yeah, Rose fucking goes down there and just like runs into a bunch of scary ghouls and goblins.
They're attracted to the light.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the sexy nurses, man.
She has like a flashlight that the church gave her. She's like, they're attracted to this. Use it how you want.
Yeah, so she like shines them. It's like, oh shit, they're moving. Lets them move for a little bit, and then turns it off, and then like sneaks through them, and then starts ducking and weaving as they're like slicing each other's throats open.
Yeah, start killing each other.
And then she
Sex
turns on the
nurses.
light and just shines it at them and runs away. That's
And-
like the only time you see the sexy nurses.
That's the only significance, because then she runs into the demon room.
Yeah.
And that's where she meets,
Alessa.
yeah,
Yeah.
The Reaper, the demon.
I don't know how I can't remember her name.
The two Alessas.
Yeah, the real Alessa, which is like this one nurse that it talks about the history of like what happened, and I guess Alessa was the daughter of
The creepy lady.
the creepy old woman, and she's like talking about how Christabella, the leader of the church, pretty much convinced everybody because Alessa was molested by Colin
Yeah.
in the bathroom that she's like a witch that she needs to be dealt with. So she like convinces her mom to give her to the church so they can fucking kill her or burn her alive.
That's what
And
they do.
That's what they do. And
They
then
burn her.
fucking Alessa's mom feels terrible about it. She's like, "Oh my god, what did I do?"
You know, like,
Guilt at the very last moment.
Yeah,
it's definitely like very like 1840s of you.
but they don't kill Alessa all the way. She just burns her to enough, and then the demon describes as like, well, she just got filled with hatred because they tried to kill her, but she didn't. She couldn't do anything. So now she's just this burn victim.
Yeah.
She's just getting filled with hatred. And so then the demon that's talking to Rose currently says, that's when I visited Alessa, and he's like, I can help you.
It's kind of weird.
Pretty
man,
much like
It's like hard to describe.
and also the, like,
Alessa isn't allowed into the church, but Rose is, so like she becomes a part of Rose.
yeah. So
like
she-
the Alessa in the bed.
So I guess saying
It's
like the church
burned.
isn't good either, because even though this demon isn't good, it needs to like bring hell towards these people who are convinced that they're not sinners, even though they are.
I also want to point out too that the burned Alessa, you can definitely tell she's wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Because her eyes, like around her eyes, are just perfectly fine, but the rest of her face is burned,
And I guess
and it looks like a mask.
so the nurse we were talking about that becomes Alessa, that's like the real Alessa, is what Alessa.
There's
demon,
like 5
the
Alessas.
demon talks about being Alessa because she's like, well, she was a nurse that worked at the hospital that the burned Alessa was at, and she got curious and like looked in her room, I guess, and it doesn't really say what happened. I guess she just got.
All I know is that she's the Reaper, but she's the dark side of Alessa.
It's so hard and convoluted
Yeah.
at that moment.
No,
to
there's like
understand,
5 different Alessas, and I guess Sharon's Alessa, but Sharon is Sharon.
So she describes Sharon as, she tells Rose that Sharon is technically the good part of Alessa. She still is Alessa, but she's like the good part of her, not the evil part.
But
That
yet,
became
Alessa's just
hatred.
chilling in the bed next to her this whole time.
But anyway, yeah, then the demon convinces
So-
Rose. She's like, well, I need to, you need to help me because those people in the church aren't good people either. They're sinners and they need to have hell brought to them.
So then
She like fucking,
Alessa and Rose give each other a hug.
yeah, they
And
do a
then
fusion
Rose-
dance.
Yeah. And they just fuse together, man. They become, what? Rosessa?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's wild, man.
And then, you know.
But yeah, and then it cuts back to the church, and I guess they have Sybil captured. They didn't kill her; they just have her like fucking tied up on this big thing, and they're gonna burn her alive.
I think this is important. I have in my notes that says this movie is boring. So I wrote that down. Just so you guys know, that seems
I
important.
want to say this movie is definitely boring. I think the plot's bad, but I do like the way this movie looks.
Yeah,
honestly.
the creatures are cool, man, but like whenever the creatures aren't there, which is like the majority of the movie,
I do like some of the ideas with this movie.
It's boring.
Like I like Silent Hill and the idea of how it exists and all that. But the plot in this movie kind of sucks. Yeah.
oh, and then they're just like, the next scene is they're back in the church, and they're like they have a
Sybil,
Sybil and Alessa
not
tied
Alessa.
to ladders,
It's Sybil and Sharon.
or Sharon, whatever. It's
Yeah,
Alessa.
plot twist. The church
Sharon.
actually had the real Sharon this whole time and just lied to Rose. But yeah, so they can go get her, and the old woman's been protecting Sharon from the church. And they fucking grab Sharon anyway, and then they're gonna like burn her alive with Sybil. So they fucking kill Sybil.
Yeah, they turn her into Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Her, like they lean her over the fire, and then her skin starts like blistering, but then all of a sudden she just ignites.
Yeah.
There's no like in between moment to where it's like, she's not even close enough to the fire to ignite.
Yeah.
She just bursts into flames just for the fuck of it.
And then fucking they're about to kill Sharon, but then Rose walks in through the door and she like delivers the message that Alessa wanted her to give, which basically is like, you guys are like fucking cheap and pretty much
Yeah, fucking open your eyes.
You're all sinners too.
snowflakes.
Like you think you're holy, but you've been killing people this whole time. Like what's wrong with y'all?
It
Y'all-
took getting hit in the face like 7 times to get the message across to all those people.
Yeah,
They just kept fucking
Stabbed.
dogging her. You know, like,
Yeah.
fucking.
Then she got stabbed in the chest, and she's like bleeding into that same.
Yeah, so
pit.
Christabella gets fed up. She's like, "You're blasphemous," and fucking stabs her, and that's what she needed because remember how she
Blasphemer.
absorbed it, the dude, I forgot her name again.
Alessa.
Alessa.
Yeah, her fucking blood spills on like this sigil on the ground.
So she brought hell into the only place it couldn't invade now. And
Yeah.
basically it punishes all the bad people in the church. It fucking kills.
And then the bedridden Alessa flies up and turns into like this barbed wire machine and just starts cutting everybody in half and
Fucking-
dragging people down the hill.
and
rips
pornographically
Christabella in half.
just like going up into people with their barbs.
Oh yeah. It goes up into Christabella's fucking vagoo. And-
Vagoo.
Splits her in half vertically.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. Like, this is probably the best part of the movie, is this last, like, 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, just seeing Christabella die, that was great.
It's like the best revenge scene ever.
Yeah.
So all the church people die, and then finally fucking Rose finds the real Sharon. She goes over to protect her. She's like, "Close your eyes. I don't want you to see all these people
Close
die,
your
even
eyes.
though you
Don't
just
look-
saw all these people die."
Don't
So-
look at anybody. Close your eyes. Then she opens her eyes and sees the evil Alessa just staring at her like an
Well,
inch
it's not.
away from
It's
her
not
face.
Alessa. It's the demon that's staring at her.
Well, it's
It's
the bad
also
side
Alessa.
of Alessa.
Yeah, I guess. She tells her not to stare, but she peeks anyway, and she sees Alessa, and
And
then
then they fusion dance.
yeah, they fuse together.
Yeah.
And then that's that. Everything's good.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Question mark.
There is a second one. So, like,
The
maybe-
mother, the dingy-haired, crazy old lady,
Yeah.
she was spared, though. She wasn't killed by the barbed wire, Alessa.
No.
Yeah.
That's because mom is God in the eyes of her
She
kids.
asked Rose, she's like, why wasn't I killed? And she's just like, yeah, mother's God in the eyes of a child. And that's
Bitch.
why her daughter decided not to kill her. She's like, well, I guess you're still my mom, even though you fucking gave me up after I got molested, mom.
But you know, like, also, at the end of the
That
movie,
mom
when
failed.
Yeah.
She's failed hard.
when Cher Alessa, you know, is walking up the stairs with Rose Alessa, you know, they're walking up the stairs and, you know, Cher Alessa looks at her mom and kind of gives her, like, one of the fake, like, I'm gonna punch you, you know, like, jumps at her. He's like, you know, watch out. You know who's boss.
And then it gets to the very end of the movie where fucking Rose drives off with Sharon and she's like sleeping in the back of the car. And that's where like Logan is talking about, well, they were probably dead this whole time because they do drive over this, like, it turns out that like cliff that made it seem like you couldn't get out of Silent Hill was actually fake and you could drive out. But they're not actually still in reality because they go back home. Well, her husband, Christopher, is still at home and he doesn't see them. And I guess they're still in like this foggy, misty place, so I guess they are in purgatory.
But also,
But he can feel them.
He can feel
Not
them.
only that, the physics of this purgatory apply to the main road too, because, you know, they open the door and he's like, oh, you know, I can feel you there. And then he walks to the door and the door's open and he's like, oh, must be the wind.
And
Who
then-
goes there?
And then the movie ends. That's it.
Yeah.
As it's raining over some bushes.
Yeah. It's like, oh man, you know, what
How many Daddy Pyramid Heads out of 10 would you give this movie?
I would give Daddy Pyramid Head 10 Daddy Pyramid Heads out of 10 Daddy Pyramid Heads.
Wow, you thought this movie was a 10 out of 10 Daddy Pyramid Heads?
No,
just Daddy Pyramid.
Pyramid Head's a 10 out of 10, you know. He's
I mean,
a
if we're
fucking
giving
Giga
him a
Chad.
scale, he's a fucking 11 out of 10 daddies.
He is a Giga Chad.
Yeah.
And then sexy nurses are always sexy, you know.
Yeah.
Can't go too wrong with that, you know. Wouldn't mind being vomited on by that acid sexy monster.
How many ripped apart church leaders would you give this movie?
Ripped apart vagoos.
Yeah.
I would give it a 4 out of 10 ripped apart vagoos.
I'd give it 5 out of 10. I thought the plot was bad, but I did like the visuals and the way the creatures looked.
There definitely was some good visuals, but there was also some bad visuals.
Yeah.
Especially when it came to bedridden Alessa, like, her whole fucking burn outfit was fake as fuck, and you can tell.
It's true.
I'd give this movie 6.6 Sharons. Because I love...
Sharon.
No, Cheryl Alessa's, because it's no longer Sharon. They fusion danced.
She fused with the demon. The other Alessa's still in hell controlling people.
Well, the demon is also Alessa.
But she only
as we
uses
know-
the body of Alessa, right? That's what she says.
But we know she's Alessa because she's the bad part of Alessa. That's what she...
Well, she says the real Alessa is the one that's, like, bedridden.
Yeah, but also fucking Sharon's also Alessa.
There's Alessa
Sharon is the good part
and
of
good
Alessa.
Alessa
Then-
and bad Alessa.
And then the demon is also Alessa, too, if Sharon's Alessa.
All three of them are.
I'll give it 7 out of 10 barbecued cops. But, that's only because I thought the visuals were tight. I was paying attention the whole time, even though the filler parts were pretty bad. You're just like, why are you here, Gucci guy?
Yeah, this movie is boring.
Thought it was still good, but
The-
definitely not as good my second time watching it.
The only
Yeah, it's
fun
definitely
parts of
worse.
this movie is...
There is another Silent Hill film.
Yeah.
I think I did watch a while back, but I don't remember it.
The only fun parts of this movie are Pyramid Head and the end when everyone gets cut in half.
And the nurses.
That
Yeah, the
was
nurses also
entertaining.
kind of sucked.
I
I'm not
do
gonna lie.
think you're
They're
wrong,
sexy,
though.
but
I think the demon used the visual, like she said, of Alessa, even though the real Alessa, as she said, wasn't her. She said Alessa was the bedridden one, and then also Sharon, which was the good part of Alessa. I don't
But
think
she
the
said
demon
that-
itself was Alessa.
no, she definitely said that she's the bad part of Alessa.
The
No.
demon itself is like Verge. It's like the Reaper.
She did not say she was Alessa,
Yeah,
though.
no, she
said
did.
she
She
said,
said-
she's not Alessa. She is.
No, she
she
said,
said I go by many different names.
I'm like the bad part of Alessa.
No.
No, she definitely did say that.
She did not say she was Alessa. She just looked like Alessa, and she said she had to convince Rose to follow her.
She definitely did say that, though. That she was, like, the bad part of Alyssa. Because then she compared Sharon to the good part of Alyssa.
No, she didn't. She
I think
said
that was just the little girl speaking in riddles. She's like, I'm whatever you want me to be. I'm the
I don't
Reaper,
think
I'm
she
a
said she
demon."
was Alessa though.
Oh,
I'd have to
she
watch that
definitely
part
did.
again, but I don't know.
Definitely did.
I think Logan might be right.
Yeah.
But just
I don't think that's
Agree
true
to
though. 'Cause she
disagree.
said that Alessa became bad and hateful, and she split part of her off into Sharon, which is the good part of her. But she said she only used the visual to look like Alessa, or look like Sharon, to convince Rose to follow her. She needed her to. But she even says, like, she's
can
like,
see
I'm
that.
not Alessa. I go by many different names. I'm the Reaper.
I think you might be right.
Yeah. I don't know. It's convoluted. It doesn't make sense.
I have in my notes that she says that she's the bad part of Alyssa.
I'll have to watch it again though, but I don't think that's right.
Either way, definitely convoluted. Hard to understand. Pretty trippy and fun at parts.
It's a cool movie though.
Like the squelchy blood parts.
Yeah, those are the best.
Speaking of, like Pyramid Head like twists that chick's skin and throws it at the door. Like that was one clean pull. He just tore off her entire epidermis.
I also don't.
Ripped her apart like a chicken wing, man.
I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
not a big fan of like these super like CGI special effects. I more prefer like regular special effects, just because
It's kind of just over the board special effects for like 2006. Like I said, it reminds me
CGI
of,
special effects just never feel right.
reminds
They
me of
always
the-
just seem slow motion.
reminds me of like the first couple Resident Evil movies a lot. And those kind of special effects, it feels like kind of the same.
Yeah.
Because I think fucking Pyramid Head was just pure special effects. Because he looked fucking weird.
It's cool though because it kind of makes it look like a video game.
There is a lot of aspects from the video game they take, like the notes you have to find and the flashlight, and all that.
Clues.
I need to replay Silent Hill games, to be honest.
Yeah. I think me too. Well, at least play the first ones because I just played PT, but yeah.
I need to play PT as well.
It's not worth it because it never got finished. It's just kind of funner to watch.
You can't even play PT anymore. They took it off the like marketplace.
Oh.
So you can't play it anymore.
Probably play it somewhere.
No, you have to play fan-made versions because they totally removed it. It was never like a disc game or anything.
Well, that's sad.
Yeah. But you could play the fan-made versions, which is basically the same.
Well,
Oh, we watched this on what was it?
I watched it on Amazon Prime.
I think it's available on Peacock as well.
I don't know why you have Peacock, but hey, you know,
Yeah, it should.
you do you. I mean, Harley used to have Peacock.
That was for reasons, though. That was for sports reasons, and I got rid of that.
No, it's because you wanted to, support NBC.
I didn't even know NBC owned Peacock.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, the fucking emblem of NBC is a peacock tail.
Guess that does make sense. Well, anyway, yeah. Final scores. I said 5 out of 10. You said what? 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10 if I'm being generous. I'd say
I
like
feel like that's a little too high.
6.2.
I still feel like that's a little too high. But it's your rating.
5 is the
I thought it was still pretty fun to watch. Thought it was enjoyable.
I mean, there's definitely like 2 enjoyable parts.
I think Liz said 6.5 out of 10, right?
6.6.
Oh, 6.6. And then you said
It's
what?
4.
4.
Yeah.
That's fair. But yeah, I don't know what we're gonna be watching next week.
Resident Evil.
But maybe.
And then we'll watch
I do want to watch Sinister at some point. If we
Dude.
can.
you know what we should watch? We should watch The Curse of Humpty Dumpty.
Oh, I heard that movie's awesome.
We haven't watched the second one. I mean,
Ugh. No.
Oh. There is also Morbius on Netflix now.
back next week for our Morbius podcast.
It's Morbid time.
Our next 50 podcast will be about Morbius.
Meow. 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 I do like that part, you know. That part was pretty good in the movie.
She's like meowing at her mom. That was weird.
Is that Dozo? Or is that Dozo or Samus?
No, that's Sharon.
Oh, that's Sharon.
I think that little girl's a good actor, though, dude.
Well, anyway.
I don't know. I don't know if anyone in this movie is a good actor. I don't even know if this movie even is real.
I would say everybody in this movie is a decent actor.
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like the chick
I don't
who
know.
was the church leader
Christophe Gans.
pulled that off the best, honestly, because she was a
Yeah.
manipulative, lying fucking
But
bitch.
at the same time,
Like I said,
I don't know.
the actor who played Officer Gucci is a good actor.
Yeah, he is a
forgot
great
his name.
actor, but not in this film.
Yeah.
He didn't have enough exposure, and he was just kind of like there.
I mean, you could definitely tell he was just hired because he's like famous.
The cats are definitely very
Like he
vocal.
needed to sell this movie a little more.
The cats definitely want to have their opinion heard on this movie.
Meow. Meow.
Yeah,
I think the
agree.
cat's just outside.
I agree,
We'll let her in
Sims.
when we're done.
You know, I once sent a voicemail when I was like super young to my friend who I lived across the street from as a kid. Like, because I wanted to, you know, see if he could come outside and play. But then I started meowing on the voicemail. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Wild, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Thanks for sharing that.
I was like, hey, you know, can this person come out and play?
Meow.
Meow! 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 Yeah, it was pretty cool, man.
Wild.
We can probably cut this here.
No.
Yeah. Okay, thanks
Bye-bye.
for watching, y'all.
It's Morbid time.